Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey, 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 hey. Hello, foodie booties. Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Judy, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are talking about, once again, Shantal Marie, Shantal Show, The Daily Shantal, Big Beautiful Me, Shantopolis, The Beezer Show. She did call herself that once upon a time, The Beezer Show. I don't say that one as often. The Beezer Show, Shantal Arafe, Shantal period, Flobby Bobby, the one and only Foodie Booty. And the last time we were talking about her was just last week because Homegirl had her husband exposed. She had her husband's poo-poo pee-pee fantasies, amongst many other things, exposed. And I figured a lot of you probably would want an update. I posted that on Friday. I typically don't post on the weekends, plus it was New Year's Eve weekend, and so I was doing many other things, enjoying my time with friends, enjoying bringing in the new year with my partner, my dogs, my whoever, my whatever. And so I just simply didn't have the time to cover her additional live streams, because I think she did go live again like once or twice to talk about that situation type of deal. And she also made a video where she basically just doubled down on like, yeah, I'm sticking by my man. I did a special karaoke moment for Shantal yesterday on my Twitch. I doubt she watches my Twitch, but I sang the famous Tammy Wynette song, Stand By Your Man, show the world you love him. That's what Miss Shantal Marie is doing right now. She said, I'm gonna stand by my man, I'm gonna show the world I love him, and if that means I'm gonna fly all the way back to Kuwait and let him take a big old dookie on my face, then I'm gonna let him do that. Which, by the way, she also posted another video, it's like 11 minutes long, where she talked about how she was getting ready to go back to Kuwait. She also showed a clip of Saleh taking Julia, that's their cat that they have together in Kuwait. They showed a clip of Julia getting groomed, or at least, at the very least, getting her nails clipped. So those were the big things I guess you missed. I mean, it wasn't really that big because she basically is just, you know, doubling down on sticking by Saleh through all this mess. She said, you know what? You know what? I'm just happy to have a man love me, even if that means that eventually I'm gonna have to let him take a dookie on my face. Which, like, live your truth. If you want to engage in that, bestie, it wouldn't even probably be the most shocking thing to hear about Shantal, if we're being honest. I mean, Homegirl literally came on here and talked about having a little menage a trois with Dee Mega Doodoo and Nodder. So, like, if you want to admit to that, I feel like you might admit to just about anything. But what we're really here to talk about is that yesterday, old Shantal went on a big old rage stream because, well, because specifically, oh, look who wants to say hi. He's sad that his sister is in the chair and not him, and he just wanted to come say hi. Bestie, I can't hold you this whole time. I gotta keep on talking. We got things to talk about. Can you believe that Shantal Marie is smoking marijuana, bestie? Can you believe the horror? The horror. But yeah, that's what we're here to talk about, because French Fried Girl, also known as FFG, that's probably what I'll be saying instead because it's easier to say. She is a foodie beauty reaction channel, and she covers a lot of Shantal. I've talked about her before on this channel, but I always like to remind people who she is because, believe it or not, there are oftentimes people, when I don't give context of who she is, where people are like, I don't know who that is. What are you talking about, Zachary Michael? I don't understand. So just in case you don't know who she is a really big reaction channel when it comes to Shantal Marie, and a lot of people do follow her for her content about Shantal these days. FFG had put up a thumbnail of a live stream. You know how, like, when somebody schedules a live stream on their channel, a thumbnail pops up, there's a title, this, that, the other. Well, there was a thumbnail that suggested that she had evidence from a bud tender, which is basically somebody who sells marijuana to people at a dispensary. And she apparently had evidence from a bud tender that Shantal was indeed buying weed while she was back in Canada. And Shantal, for whatever reason, I guess in a effort to like one up FFG or to like steal the story from FFG or something like that, decides that she's gonna go live and just immediately start raging about this situation and admit to buying weed while she's in Canada. I will say in this very first clip I'm about to show you, she does refer to FFG as a goblin, which we could talk more about after I show you the clip.
Yes, I see that's FF Goblin, aka Slimer, aka jealous of my life to the max. Fucking stalker loser. Hi Gemini! Gabriel Washburn! Welcome to Very Important Bees. She thinks she has this big revelation. Imagine being so fucking obsessed with somebody and have no life. Like, this is no life, no man energy completely. Coming to my hometown to go to dispensaries or find out, interrogate dispensaries to see if I'm smoking weed. Imagine. So, yes, I do smoke. All right? I get weed products. In Thailand and Canada, where it's legal, I will smoke weed. I'm still struggling with giving it up fully. And if I say no when people ask me or I'm avoidant, it's on purpose because it's none of your fucking business.
So I do just also want to say, if you don't know, FFG is Jewish. Shantal has a history of repeatedly calling FFG a goblin. Shantal has been called out for that. Shantal has been educated about that. If you don't know, goblin is a word that has historically been used in an anti-Semitic way to talk about Jewish people. And despite many people taking time to educate Shantal on the history of this word and why it's used that way and why it's not a good word to call a Jewish person, Shantal repeatedly uses it. And while I showed you that one clip, Shantal uses that word several thousand times. 1,000 is clearly an exaggeration here, but she uses it multiple times throughout the live stream, and I'll spare you in sharing those clips with you because it's not necessary. But like, just know that Shantal is a fucking horrid person. And even after many people tried to kindly educate her about this, still insists on calling FFG this word. And while we're on that note, I'll also say that later in the live stream, she also uses the R slur, which is a word that is used as a slur against the disabled community.
Like, who the fuck are you? You're nothing. Oh my god, Meep. They're friggin' retarded. I can't stand them. Like, seriously.
So yeah, Shantal, not a great person. Not a good person. She's terrible, and I just want to be clear that as I talk about this whole entire situation, that I 100% am on team Shantal is a fucking miserable ass human being, terrible person. All right, she just is and always probably will be. I don't see a lot of hope for growth on her end, at least not in that kind of way, like growing towards being a better person. So anyway, Shantal basically goes on to say like, yeah, I smoke weed and I'm gonna do it in places that it's legal, such as Canada, such as Thailand, where she visited earlier this year, or early in 2023. I forget that it's 2024 now, but she went to Thailand in 2023 with Sala, and apparently she was smoking weed there too. And Shantal spends a lot of time like suggesting that people are just trying to make her out to be some kind of bad Muslim, and that's why people are trying to expose her for smoking weed.
Before she reveals it, so what? I smoke weed. What's the deal? Womp womp. End of story. What's the big deal? She's gonna judge me now on being a good Muslim when she's a piece of vile shit? Please. I know a lot of Muslims actually that still smoke. Like, you know, like for me, I've been going through a lot of shit and I can't stand fucking being here unless I'm high. So I smoke weed. Oh well. Like I said, that's between, if I'm such a bad Muslim, that's between me and God.
And I don't know if it's because she's dumb or she's trying to deflect or both, but like, We were all here when she first touched down in Canada and talked about how she was bringing her values and her morals with her from Kuwait and how she had no desire to smoke weed.
I'm in Canada, but I'm bringing all of my morals with me and all of my beliefs with me and all of the changes that I've made to myself with me. And I will continue to work on my character and my health here. You're wrong about every single thing. You're wrong about me being a fake Muslim. You're wrong about me, and no, I'm not a perfect Muslim, but it doesn't mean I'm fake and I don't believe in God and Allah, okay? And you're so wrong about me wanting to eat pork. I'm never going to eat pork again. I haven't. And I'm not going to drink. And I'm also not going to smoke weed or take edibles. I thought when I came here, I would be craving it so bad. And there's dispensaries I was driving by. And I really just, you know what I like? I like the feeling of a clear head. I was thinking of how I felt when I was like high. And how, I think it's worse for my depression. I really do.
Trust and believe, I don't think FFG, who talks about her own experience of going to this specific dispensary and buying weed, has any issue with Shantal smoking weed. I think what most people are recalling and remembering is that Shantal herself sat on her own high horse, her own espoused values and morals, and said, I'm so good, I'm so great, I will not go back to smoking weed while I'm in Canada. I've had no desire to do so. I think the larger concern is that people are just like, you're lying, bestie. You're fucking lying, Shantal. You're a liar. And she goes on about like, why should anybody care if I'm smoking weed? Why should I have to tell you? Why is that any of your business? Because you said you weren't doing it. Let alone the fact that like the context of Shantal's channel as a whole, she fully has a history of her audience thinking that she is driving under the influence of various substances. It's happened so many times on her channel, and the only kind of content we've gotten for the most part on her channel since she's been back in Kuwait is her in her car, her driving around in her car, her parked in parking lots in her car. So I think it's safe for people to be like, have you been driving while high? Is that like a thing you're doing? So there's many reasons that people care about why Shantal is smoking outside of her religion as a Muslim. I would say that for me, that's the least of my concerns when it comes to her smoking. I mean, I'm not really concerned regardless. I think like Shantal's gonna do what Shantal wants to do. I do find it fascinating that at every turn we find out that she's a liar, which is also not surprising. But like, you know, she's gonna do what she wants to do. I partake in legal edibles. I know many people partake in legal weed if they want to. As long as you're doing it safely, I don't give a shit. I just care that you're a fucking liar, Shantal. And I think that most people are on the same page about that. And if anything, them bringing up your religion as a Muslim is only because that you talk about being a Muslim and being such a good Muslim all the time and do it with things like, oh, I'm never gonna smoke weed again, and then you do. And then you do. And I guess I just also have to say that, you know, she goes into detail about, you know, the specific store that she shopped at. She shows the bag from the store that she shopped at. And she's dumb as hell for confirming any of this shit. I just want to be clear. From my many years now on the internet, the dumbest thing somebody can do when they've been doxxed or exposed like this is to confirm that the dox was correct, that the place was correct, that whoever, whatever about the situation was correct. Because all it does is bring more attention to the dox. It gives the people who were doing the doxing the attention that they want. Okay, so in this situation, FFG probably got the exact attention she wanted from exposing Shantal as a person who's still smoking weed and buying from the one plant dispensary in Cornwall. And it encourages people to do it more because they see that you're going to give them the reaction that they want, right? Like your reaction to all of this is encouraging people to deep dive further into your life and try to dox you and things like that. I'm not saying that to blame Shantal necessarily or anybody who's been doxed or things like that. I ultimately, and we're going to talk about this more in just a bit, but I ultimately think that like people should obviously not be doing this to people on the internet just because they're public figures, just because they don't like the person, this, that, the other. They shouldn't be doing it. But I'm saying from content creator to content creator, this is just my advice to anybody who's on the internet and finds themselves in a situation like Shantal. If somebody happens to dox you, like, do not confirm, because I've seen time and time again with people on the internet where they confirm it and it just makes it worse for them. I think Shantal's also dumb as hell because it seems like from what, I didn't watch any of this happen live in real time. I just went back and watched stuff today, this morning. And based on FFG's stream, it seems like FFG actually ended up going live after Shantal was already live doing this rage, okay? So FFG hadn't revealed anything. FFG hadn't played any of her cards yet. And Shantal immediately came on and is like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I smoke pot. Yeah, I bought it from one plant in Cornwall. Yeah, I did all that. FFG didn't even have to say anything. All FFG did is put up a fucking thumbnail. Okay? That's like Shantal had to literally do nothing except sit there and be quiet, which is, I guess, too much to ask for Shantal. I will say in general, most of Shantal's 1.5 hour long live stream is just her ranting about the same, like, 3 things. Ranting about FFG and or reaction channels in general. Ranting about the store and how dare they, like, reveal that she's a customer there. And ranting and rambling about why it's okay that she smokes pot and how she's not a bad Muslim because of it. So I have to be honest, I watched like the first, I don't know, probably 45 minutes of this live stream. That's just my estimation. I didn't actually look at the timestamp to see when I stopped, but I just decided I can't watch all of this, and I went and looked at the recap from Peeps of Shit to make sure I didn't miss anything else that was important. So, you know, this is not supposed to be an all-intensive, like, recap of what she said in her live stream, just the things that I thought was interesting and thought was worth talking about. And I mostly say that because the only other major thing that I have to say specifically about Shantal when it comes to the things she was saying in her live stream is that she did unnecessarily dox a woman from that maybe allegedly worked at this dispensary. So she starts off by ranting about the experience she had with a woman at this dispensary.
And so, by the way, if you're watching the fucking bitch from one plant, you're a friggin' bitch too. Because I remember going in and she's like, are you a YouTuber? Another one that looks like Slimer. And I'm like, Crystal, let's bees. Thank you, ready to bees. Rebees. So I'm like, yeah. And she's like, don't worry. I'm like, I know I'm like, whatever. Like, you know, she's like, don't worry. I won't tell anybody you're in here. Yeah, sure. I don't care anyway. I don't care. You can't get this through your thick brain, okay? Maybe you should get an ear cleaner for merch. I don't care. You can't expose me. I expose myself all the time.
And I honestly don't know how much of the story I believe. Like, I could see a world where somebody would know she's a YouTuber that worked at this dispensary. Like, they might recognize her. Cornwall seems to be not super big, and so maybe they're just aware of Shantal in general. But the part about that story, well, at least when I was first watching this through and leaving the notes, the major part about the story I don't believe is why would the employee just like out of nowhere say, don't worry, we won't tell anybody you're here. Now that I've watched a good chunk of the live stream, have questions about like the original story to begin with, because she was like, oh yeah, this person, asked if I was a YouTuber, but then she goes on to act like this woman that potentially, gave away Shantal's purchases at the store to FFG. She goes on to say that this is a person that she knew from high school.
Yeah, FFG, like, she's damaging this worker's life. Well, you know what, I don't know, it's Cornwall. I don't think they're... Anyway, I don't know. But... like, I remember that woman being a bully in high school, and, like, she still is one, clearly. And
she also fully reveals this person's first and last name on the stream. It's just, like, so wild and unnecessary. And on top of that, from what I saw in FFG's live stream about all of this, FFG claims she was talking to a man about Shantal, and there was no woman that she talked to about Shantal shopping at this dispensary. So I think it was like wildly unnecessary to just dox a random woman. I mean, I'm not surprised that Shantal did that. Shantal has a wild history of doxing people that she sees as her enemy. But she does go on to claim that she's gonna go talk to the manager of the store the next day.
So that's a breach of privacy, exactly. So whoever the manager at one plant is going to get in shit. So just wait. So FF Gunt, if you want to publish that and admit that it's one plant bud tender, fine, because I'll be going to the manager tomorrow.
I think the first thing that's wild to me about that is that she's going to tell people where she's going to be the next day. Like, why are you giving people that much information about your whereabouts when you were clearly just doxed already? I think she also should have just privately and silently done this to begin with without advertising it to the internet. I don't think she should have given it any attention, and she should have just gone to the store and or called the store and addressed it that way. But also, unfortunately, because of the attention that FFG and Shantal have brought to the store, it has led to them getting all kinds of fake Google reviews from people who only are aware of this dispensary because of Shantal, and it's just wild. Like, why are we subjecting this business to that? I will say, for what it's worth, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that an employee would give out information like that anyways to anybody, because if you watch FFG's stream, she really literally says that she like showed the employee Shantal's YouTube channel and said, hey, has this person been in here? And if I was the employee, I'd be like, that's none of your business. Like, if you have to show me this person on YouTube, I would guess that you probably don't really know that person, and you're in here like trying to find some random person from the internet in my store, and I'd probably be like, that's none of your information. So I do think it's a little weird, but I also am like, we don't have to go destroy this business over some stupid internet nonsense. So I guess just to reiterate, Shantal is crazy. Chantal's response to this is unhinged. Shantal does everything wrong, as she normally does, and yeah, that's to be expected of her. She could have handled all of this better without using anti-Semitic language, ableist language, the R slur, for instance. She could have done all of this without that. She could have done all of this without doxing people. She really just handled everything wrong, which, are we surprised? Probably not. If you've been following Shantal for a while, you're probably not too surprised that she didn't handle this well. But I think the other end of this to discuss is FFG inserting herself into Shantal's life, and Shantal certainly has a lot to say about it herself. She, in fact, spends a lot of this stream talking about FFG and discusses how FFG is stalking her and how FFG needs a life. And I guess what I'll say about this all is that I did recently actually talk about this like concept of people interjecting themselves into Shantal's life. More specifically, it came up with K-Bella and K-Bella messaging Sala. And it seems like it just is acceptable now in this community, or in the community of people that watch Shantal, that it's acceptable to interject with her life because people don't like her, and Shantal has what's coming to her. And I'm honestly not here to fight with y'all about that. Like, if you're okay with it, that is your prerogative to be okay with. I do know that probably a lot of the things that I am about to say aren't going to be popular with everybody, and that is fine. I just want to be clear about where I stand when it comes to these things. And to be honest, it's probably not too surprising that I feel this way, because it's something that I feel like I've been relatively consistent about in the entirety of my time on YouTube. I really don't think that I've ever really wavered too much from the idea or concept that, like, we don't need to be interjecting ourselves into the lives of other YouTubers and trying to become a part of the narrative. And I said that in the video about K-Bella, and said that I was concerned about her in general because she didn't seem well, but also concerned that one of her main objectives seemed to be to ruin Shantal's marriage to Sala, and also another reason she cited was that she was trying to impress FFG. And in that video, I did actually address a number of things that FFG has done over time to inspire somebody to want to go interject themselves into Shantal's life. This includes the very first time that she did it, where she called up Shantal on the telephone and warned her about Nader and Nader's behavior. She also attended a public fashion show that Shantal was a model in. She also, probably most famously, devised a scheme to get BBJ from Shantal, which when I brought this up in the K Bella video, there was at least one person who was like, Zach, that's not fair. And I was like, what do you mean that's not fair? And they were seemingly upset that I didn't mention that this plan that was devised for FFG to go and take BBJ from Shantal, they were upset that I didn't include that this plan saved BBJ's life. So, I just want to say that FFG interjecting herself into Shantal's life in this situation saved BBJ's life. I hope that covers it. I hope you now view this as a fair covering of the facts. One thing that I didn't include in that most recent video, but does reflect on the ways that FFG has interjected herself into Shantal's life, is that she literally befriended Shantal's actual real life long-term friend Shannon. Like, she fully goes over to Shannon's house, hangs out with Shannon, has visited Shannon before, so that's a thing. And now she's gone to Cornwall to show her audience the specific parking lot that Shantal was in when she went to a Shoppers Drug Mart and a Starbucks to show that there's a dispensary in there. And I've seen, when this was happening, I was live on Twitch and I briefly opened the stream because I was like, what is going on? Why are people on Twitter? What are they talking about? And somebody did say that this is a dispensary that FFG does regularly shop at, which is fine. I do just want to be clear that she specifically said that she was taking her audience, she purposely went there with the intent to take a video to show her audience where Shantal was.
Let me tell you how I knew that she was going and buying the weed. Do you remember the other day? This is now going back over a week. And she had done a stream going into Shoppers Drug Mart, the pharmacy, and at the same time was talking about Starbucks. And I put two and two together and I said, hey, I know what shares a common parking lot between a Shoppers Drug Mart and a Starbucks. And remember, there's only one Starbucks in all of Corinth. So it kind of gave away the dispensary share, or there's a dispensary that shares the parking lot, right? So anyway, remember that I had also said that when I next go to Corinth, I'm going to stand in the middle of the parking lot and spin myself around and show you what I mean. Well, Frenchie went to the Corinth today. So let me pull up exactly what I mean. Hold on. So you remember when I was telling you guys how I knew where she was in the Corinth because she was filming at that Shoppers Drug Mart and then talking about Starbies. And I said, wow, they share the parking lot with something that I know very well, the dispensary. Let me show you what I mean. So you got the Shoppers Drug Mart where she filmed. Then you've got the Starbucks right over there. And I'm just going to pivot around and show you what's on that side. What do you think the one plant that they sell over there is?
So I just want to be clear that I understand that people are okay with FFG doing that. This is not me passing judgment on FFG specifically. It's clearly something that she is okay doing. I just want to be clear that it's not something you'll ever see me doing on my channel. And if I do, please do hold me accountable for it, because I certainly, it's not something I would feel comfortable with interjecting myself into somebody's life like that. It's one thing, I think, to DM some folks. I have DM'd Amber Lynn in the past. I've probably maybe even DM'd with Shantal, although actually I don't know that. I think that's probably actually not true. But I certainly have DM'd with Amber Lynn. I've DM'd with Amy and Tammy Slayton before too. That's one thing. And in fact, actually, honestly, I told Amber Lynn to stop DMing me because I don't want to be involved in her life like that. And I felt like she was trying to manipulate what I did or didn't post, and I just felt uncomfortable with it. But it's a whole other thing to be taking people on tours of where somebody lives and to be involving yourself in their life like that. Like, it just will not be me. I will not be doing that. That is not something I personally feel comfortable with. And I gotta be clear, I understand that people don't like Shantal. I certainly don't care for her myself. I don't think Shantal's a good person. This is not a defense of Shantal in any kind of way in terms of like trying to suggest she's a good person or anything like that. I also understand that Shantal is dumb. Like, Shantal has put out a lot of information about herself onto the internet, to the extent that she specifically, I mean, she did essentially say that she was in this parking lot. So it's like not unrealistic that FFG could find where she was based on things that Shantal said. I'm just saying that just because Shantal's putting that information out doesn't mean that we need to go and interfere with her life like this. So with that being said, I just want to reiterate that I don't personally support people interfering with the lives of YouTubers like this, regardless of if you like them or not. So again, I'm sure some of you don't agree with that. I'm sure a lot of you don't care. I just think that, you know, if this happened to one of your fave YouTubers and not Shantal, you probably would not be as forgiving for it. And I know that that context does matter to a lot of you, that it's Shantal and you're not concerned about her feelings and how it impacts her life, and that's your prerogative. But I just try to stay consistent on these things, and I wouldn't want this happening to my favorite YouTuber. I wouldn't want that to happen to them. And so, you know, I feel like you are potentially opening a door for that to just be acceptable to do to whoever. And the reality is that Shantal's life is a train wreck enough without people interfering in it for us to add shit to it, you know? Like, there will still be things to be entertained by, and if there's not, then maybe it's time to let Shantal go. I will say at one point Shantal threatens FFG with a restraining order.
The bud tender confirmed Foodie Beauty's been smoking haram. You're not even Muslim. You're Islamophobic. You're a fat, wasteless, you're a waste of oxygen. You're a dog killer, and you're a piece of shit. So you need to get the fuck out of my life before I do put a restraining order on your flat, stupid SpongeBob ass, bitch, okay? Thank you. Stay away from me.
And I'm honestly so unclear on why she doesn't just do it. I'm unclear on why she doesn't do some kind of protection outside of the fact that she's just lazy, and that would be too much work for her, to be honest with you. Like, that's the only thing I can come to in my mind as some sort of conclusion on why she doesn't do it. Because why aren't you doing it, Shantal? Like, put up or shut up. Because she's clearly shown that she has no qualms about doing this stuff. So, like, put up or shut up, Shantal. Do it or don't. Do it or get off the pot. Piss or get off the pot, I think is the phrase. Anyways, that's all I have to say about this subject. Like I said, she yammered on and on and on for like an hour and a half, something like that, but a lot of it was just her repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again. So we're not going to sit here and dissect every single time that she told somebody to F off or claim that she wasn't a bad Muslim or this, that, the other, because we would be here all day. We surely would, besties. Anyways, if you liked today's video, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye!